Mr. Vibes on Vibes. I define you for this. For this, I no trust, I fit to contain. And your body not baggage. So you know, see, I'm falling for love. Overdose me, your love they overdose me. Now you, I want me love you, I think of follow. Overloading, I'll be overloading. Your bank account, money plenty, tell me.
You can hear my voice, use the chat box and let us know you are here. Also, for you to use the chat box, you have to be subscribed to the channel first and be able to ask your question using the chat box. Okay.
Run. Loving you till kingdom come, but you drive me crazy. Send someone, still my billboard baby.
My number one, see they be. I just wanna be there when you need me. Baby, now your matter, I dey sing all day, yeah. Overdosing, body overdose. I'ma say you got it overload. And you know you bad like commando, yeah. Oroma, no go down, baby. You can carry your luggage. I define you for this. For this, and no trust, I fit to contain. Your body not baggage. So you know, see, I'm falling for love. Overdose me, your love they overdose me. Now you, I want me love you, I think of follow. Overloading, I'll be overloading. Your bank account,
Welcome, those of you joining now, welcome. We need you to interact with the chat, and to do that, you have to be subscribed. For those that are yet to, subscribe to the channel, you won't be able to use the chat box to ask, your relevant questions. So that's the whole essence of today's meeting, so as we can interact and ask questions. If I Well done. Well done. See you. So Ifeanyi Okoye, welcome. So you can use the chat box. You just have to wait for about 60 seconds. That's roughly 1 minute, Ifeanyi, to be able to, you know, show us that you've joined the platform.
I'm never weak, I never cease. Till eternity, my legacy will not die. My family is for life. But them day, would them be? Them go crazy, them go die. Them don't know. It's in this song. Lobby, all of them done they know this. I'm not joking. All my guys, them know me. Since '06, I've been writing this story. I know be OG, but if you ask them know me.
So welcome, Ifeanyi. Welcome, Rofiat, Azban. It's nice to have you guys on board. So we're going to start off, and we don't need to wait for anybody because time is of the essence. Sunny, you're welcome on board. Thank you for joining us. Uh, if you all can hear me clearly, kindly drop a thumbs up or a like to indicate that you can hear me clearly. So I know you can hear me clearly. If you can hear me, drop a thumb up and or a like or whatever, just to indicate that you can hear me clearly, so that we can start right away. Valentine, welcome. Nice to have you here on board. Nice to have you on board. Now uh we use this setup so that everyone can actually be a part of this and to make it a bit much more. Valentine says you can't hear me. Ah, if you can hear me now, okay, I feel fine. Can hear me. So I've increased the sensitivity of the mic, so you should be able to hear me now. Samuel Godwin, welcome on board. Welcome on board. Hayo Damola Olatuji, welcome. It's nice to have you guys here. I'm glad you all can make it here this morning. So the meeting is going to be swift, and thank God is we are streaming live to YouTube, so those that are coming in late would definitely be able to watch it from the beginning. So basically, um, Valentine, if you can hear me, you have to increase the volume of your audio. 'Cause I believe uh, the my audio is quite very loud. Okay, so you can try as much as possible to increase. How about now? I believe the audio should be much more better. The audio should be much more better now. Valentine, the audio should be much more better now. Should be able to hear me clearer right now. Cynthia, good morning. Sarah, thank you, and good morning to you. So welcome everyone. For those of you that are joining that you don't know how to use the chat box or it's not allowing you to respond, you need to first be subscribed to the channel before you can actually contribute. Okay. Deborah, welcome. Ah, my neck. All right, so let's get started. Now, before we start taking questions, initially I plan on using a platform called Slido so that we can all, use the platform to ask our question. But instead of moving you all to Slido for that, what we'll do instead is we'll use the chat box here so that we can all have the same interface and everyone can see the questions in real time and we can interact with one another. So, that being said, um, so let's get started. So if you have questions, you can start dropping your questions. But first, I want to address the issues some of you have been facing when it comes to making your setting up your hosting and domain. Now, the first thing you need to note is some of you went ahead to go to kubitos.com and select a plan there. I discovered that someone selected a yoga plan. If you do that, you actually be paying for the hosting, the expensive hosting and domain name, right? You're supposed to use the hosting platform, the hosting plan that is inside your upskill account. You're supposed to use the hosting plan inside your upskill account. If you don't, what happens is you won't get those offers like the .com, .ng, and .net for free, and you won't get the cheap hosting that we're offering just the students. You won't see it on the Kubitos platform directly. All right, you won't see it on the website directly. So you have to take the hosting plan directly from your upskill account. That's the only way you can enjoy that benefit of, I think it's about 1,000 naira per month for 6 months, which is very, very good to launch your website and you're not paying for the domain name at all. So that's really, really a good thing. So what you need to do, I'm going to show you what you need to do. And some of you are saying you can't find the .com.ng. Now, the reason why you can't find .com.ng or .net.ng is because it's restricted to only Nigerian users. So our foreign clients we're not offering that for free. All right, so that means you need to switch your currency to NGN, which is Naira. You need to switch your currency to Naira. That way, I sent a screenshot on how to do that on the WhatsApp platform. I don't know if somebody, I still got a message from someone this morning asking about, you know, asking about the telling me that he or she could not find the .com.ng. And we discussed that yesterday. So please be active on your WhatsApp. That's why I don't like opening the WhatsApp channel so it doesn't get overflooded, and that way messages are lost in the crowd. So we don't want to. So we want you to be able to see the most frequent or most recent message. Welcome, Lawrence. Welcome, Bright. Good morning to you too. Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to show you how to go about this. But first, let me try to log into my Kubitos account and to just show you the process. Because the whole essence of this program is to train you with real life applications. All right, so everything we are going to teach you, you are going to be practicing it. So it's not just you coming watching videos and you won't have something to show for it. So it's a is a what's this word, is a hands-on project or program. All right, welcome, Chinazam Esther. Welcome. It's nice to have you here. So I'm going to share my screen now, and so once you are logged in here, all you need to do is to go to hosting. We said this time and time again. I believe you can all see my screen. So you go to hosting within your upskill dashboard. Now you have two options. You can choose the one for 1 year, you can choose the one for 6 months. Now basically what you see here is what you actually pay. It covers for both your domain and hosting. So you don't need to pay for domain. If you follow this step exactly. So I recorded the video in the lesson. There's already a video that shows you how to do this. For those of you that for some reasons you skipped the video and you landed on the quiz by a miracle, I don't understand. But so let's fix that. Then we cannot take questions. And please, so don't need to flood the chat box with your questions yet. Just hold on, right? Have your questions ready somewhere. So when I start asking questions, because I can't see the screen right now, okay? So when I switch back to the studio mode, so I'll be able to. I'm in the office, so I don't have an external monitor to do that simultaneously. All right. So I'm going to search for an available domain. So we're going to search, let's say, Kubit Upski jagaban.com.ng, for instance. So I will first search using the search functionality within your Upski platform to see if it's actually available. All right, if somebody is not yet using it already. So once you see this green notification, that simply tells you that it's available. All right. So the next thing you need to do, make sure you just copy the URL. Okay. Next thing you need to do is to click on get hosting. So if you can afford just the 6,000 around, fine. But I recommend you go for the 1 year plan, so you don't need to worry, because the way dollar is going now, next year or the next 6 months, the price might go up, right? Because the previous cohort, they actually pay 5,500 or so. But because of exchange rates, right? The exchange rate has fluctuated since our new government came to power, so it has skyrocketed. So, but we don't want it to affect the value and the cheap offer we are giving the students, so that, because we know everybody things are a bit tight, so we want to make things easy so that you have your website ready, your hosting, and the beautiful thing about it is you have full control. All right, upskill is not having taking control of your website after you are done. You have full control. You can convert that hosting to do another project entirely. You can use that domain name after you've collected the certificate and verified your website. You can decide to even change the whole website. Do whatever you want with your hosting and domain. It's absolutely yours. You have 100% control. Okay? You can use it for any project you want. But as long as it's not a malicious project and you're not using it to scam people. But if we discover that we are using it to do something illegal, we'll shut down your hosting. We have the right to do that, and it's in our terms and conditions. So for all of us that know, it should read it. That's what I'm telling you now. Now, right here, some of you will not see the .com.ng, which is what is giving a lot of people concern, because they will not see the .com.ng right here. They will not see the .com.ng right here. So the next thing you need to do is at the top here, you switch to ngn. All right. When you switch to ngn, it will reload. As soon as the page reloads, you would see the .com.ng. So if I search for .com.ng now, this is interesting. You're supposed to see the .com.ng. Okay. But here is another trick for you to go about this, because you shouldn't leave this URL, right? Don't leave this URL. Make sure you stay on this URL. So let's say I clicked on .com. Let's search for .com. Part of the recommendation you would see, yes, part of the recommendation here, you would see at the bottom here, you will see the .com.ng. Let it load up, and that's what we'll just select. Okay, so let's see if it will be available. So you can see the .com.ng here, and you can see the .net.ng. So you wait for this to load completely first and see if you have this hard option. Once you have the add option, so you can click add. So I'm going to reload this again. But make sure you don't leave this URL because there's a string on the URL. That's what will give you that domain name for free. Okay. Now there are a lot of processes running on my computer at the same time. So that could also be the reason for the slow, the slow stuff. So I'm going to paste the domain again. Check. Now we'll wait for it to load this .com.ng and the .net.ng. So once it loads them, you'll be able to select them and it will replace what you currently have here. I don't know why it's taking so long. So while that is loading, I will get back to that as soon as it loads completely. I believe my PC is quite slow. So welcome everyone who just joined us. Adetola, Zainab, Abraham, Akali, Victor Praise, Young Lee, Bright. Welcome. So let's begin to ask our questions. While I'll revisit the domain registration stuff once it's back and accessible. Okay. So let's ask our questions. Begin to use the chat box to ask your questions. Yeah, that's the whole purpose of the meeting. So all the challenges you might face, apart from the getting your .com.ng part, so whatever challenge you might be facing at the moment, let us know. Can everybody hear me? Victor Praise. Can everybody hear me? If you can hear me. Piper Pro, welcome. The other funny name. Why people don't see your real names or your Gmail for crying out loud? Alright, so let's ask our questions. Let's ask our questions, please. Praise. Yes, you're expected to make payment for the hosting now. If you can proceed, if you want to proceed at the same pace, but it's not compulsory you make it now. Nevertheless, you have to make it before the end of the second week module. Okay. Victor Praise, did you catch that? Yeah, Sani, I just answered this question. You asked that is it compulsory to register for domain name before we can be able to continue with the lecture? Now, you can't build a website without domain and hosting. That's the basic concept. All right. So even if you continue with the lecture, you won't be able to practice what you are learning. So the way we structure this program, at the end of the second module, you won't be able to continue until you have your domain and hosting because you'll be asked for that domain and hosting for verification. So once you have that, but we don't want people to go through the syllabus and you don't have something practicable to bag up with during the program. So it's mandatory. You must get the hosting. That's why we are making the domain name free so that it will be affordable for everyone. All right, and it's for 6 months. think that's a very, very good deal. Ridiculously cheap, I must say. So that's like saying you are paying 1,000 naira per month for 6 months. So that's logical. Even if you don't have a job, you should be able to afford 1,000 naira in a month. In a month. So for you to build your dream, your passion, your desire, I don't think 1,000 naira is too much for a whole month. So, Sani, I believe I answered that question. For anybody that's still having that need clarity when it comes to the purchase of the hosting and domain, I believe I just made justice to that question. Before you, like I said in the beginning, I showed you while I was trying to make payment. What your total, you shouldn't spend more than 6,100 naira for 6 months, which covers your hosting and domain name. All right. So for some reasons that is unclear, the domain name is not showing. All right, the .com domain name is not showing. So I'm going to see how to rectify that. Now, Sarah, you said can you pay monthly? No, we should intentionally make it 6 months to show that you are committed and serious because we don't want to clog our servers with inactive accounts. Sarah, are you getting me? So let's say everybody do 1 month now, and after 1 month, you just ignore the accounts. You refuse to make any progress, any changes, or even uh, take steps to improve your website or to make money with it or to start building business with it. Now, it does not only affect your own personal development, but it also affects we wasting our resources. All right. So, as much as we're giving it out for cheap, at the same time, we don't want to waste resources. All right. Because for each, in fact, as a matter of fact, let me tell you something. If we are charging you 20,000 naira, even 50,000 naira for this program, it's not enough. Talk less of making it free, right? Because each time you watch a video, let me just tell you now, each time you watch a video lesson, we actually pay. That videos are not hosted on Kubit. We use a private server, DNS, to be able to make sure the video is delivered to you at a very, very easy, way, in such a way that it's regardless of how slow your network is, you will still be able to watch the videos. All right. So we're using we're partnering with a third party network, a cloud CDN network, to just host the videos for us. We can't use YouTube, right, for privacy. So we put it there, and we pay for every bandwidth. Meaning that for every time you stream a video, some of you that you pause the video, you say you're not there again, you come back again, you rewatch it from the beginning. You come back again, the following day, you watch the same video. Each time you do that, we are paying. All right. So if the goal is to say you all should bring money, let's make money from you guys. Most of you will not be able to afford the program. So we just have to make it free. And we could have made the hosting also free, but many people will abuse it. Many people will misuse it. We've done it before. So many people will misuse the opportunity. So we made it cheap and affordable. So if you can't afford 6,000 naira for 6 months, then you have no business running the program in the first place. If you remember during your application, we asked you how much can you afford in a month. A lot of people pick less than 10,000 naira. But we know that regardless of if you have a job in Nigeria, no matter how terrible situation is, as long as you have a job, you should be making nothing less than 10,000 naira in a month, right? And from that you can save up or do something meaningful. So we try to make it affordable, 6,000 naira for domain and hosting for 6 months. No, that's ridiculously cheap. In my opinion, me, I'm not in support of it in the first place. but management just want to give back to you know to help as many youths as possible. So don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. So we are going to resolve any um, possible glitches we might have when it comes to getting the domain name for free, because I noticed that there are some things that are not just working right. Okay, so I'm going to show you another way to go about it, right? But I'm going to first test it to see if it will work. So yeah, I think I've answered Sunny's question, and I've answered Pirate Power Pro question. Samuel Godwin is asking, how can we know which domain name is malicious and which is not? Serve a guide. Now, there's nothing like domain name is malicious, right? What I meant by that is, let's say you created a website for piracy. Even though the name can be bodehospitality.com, doesn't matter. But we get reports when the or you create content that are copyrighted. If the owner of the content reach out to the hosting company and they report, we get reports of cases like that. And sometimes we have to, if we don't respond, they have the legal right to report us to the larger governing regulatory board, and they can shut down the servers that we are using and to affect other businesses. So that's why we take it seriously. So if you are building a website, make sure you are abiding by the laws as much as you can. Okay, so that's what we meant by. So you can literally build any kind of website, but as long as you're not against the law of that land, all right, of your region. Hmm? Because for instance, there are some countries or there are some regions that you can get away with piracy, and there are some that you can't. So if you are in such region, hey, you get away with it. I'm just using that as an example. Okay. Victor Praise, you said you got the free domain, but it's still showing pending. Did you successfully make payment? And what do you mean by you got the free domain? Is your hosting active? Reply, Victor Praise. This is for you. If your hosting is active, but your domain is still pending, you don't need to worry, because at the end of the lesson, I explained that sometimes you would have, if you try to access your domain after you made payment, it will tell you DNS probe error or something. At the end of the lesson, you fast forward the video, you see where I showed you such errors. Right? What that means is your domain name is not yet propagated, not yet pointing to your hosting. Nobody has control over that, right? It depends on how the network of the internet is at that point in time, right? So DNS propagation varies. Sometimes you can buy a domain name now and instantly it's connected. Sometimes it can take 24 hours, some 2 hours, 1 hour. So it will vary for all of you. So it depends. But you don't need to panic. Once you see that you've paid and your hosting is active, even though the domain is pending, you're safe. So is that the case? Victor Praise, if that's the case, let me know. If that's the case, let me know. So Julius is asking, can we have multiple websites or domain with one of or same account? Yes, you can have multiple hosting. Once you purchase a hosting, you can, even with your upskill, you can buy another hosting again and still log in. It will be added. So the number of services will just keep adding and adding and compounding. I'm trying to see if I can fix the domain registration issue before we to see if there's an issue with it, so that we can continue. But I'll also be answering all the questions you might be having, right? So next question. Valentine, Secretariat is doing a great job. The domain is affordable. However, please give us some time for those of us who get paid by month end. Like I said, it's at the fourth week that we'll start dropping off people from the program. Let me give you a good example. Last cohort, we had over 590 people registered. Right now, the only people remaining in the program are 68. To tell you how serious we take this thing. So we are not looking at the numbers, we are looking at the value, the quality of people that will graduate from the program. So if we are here right now and your intention is that you will not see it through or you are not serious, don't worry. After fourth week, automatically the system is programmed like that. There are certain things we look out for. We have to look at how many lessons you've completed. The system will check if you've already acquired your domain name with Kubitos, right? Because it's being the record. So once it confirms that, even if you are, let's say you are in the third week, you've not even met up with the fourth week and the fourth week is ending, you will still remain in the program as long as you've marked all those checklists. So checklist one is that you must have completed at least 2 modules. Checklist two is that you must have set up your hosting and domain. So if you have this within the first 4 weeks, if you have this within the first 4 weeks, mind you, after module 2, you can't continue until you have your domain and hosting registered, because the quiz will ask you for your domain and hosting and it will be verified. So if it's not verified, your next lesson will not be unlocked while the program is over. But you don't need to worry. As long as you have the intention to get it before the fourth week, you will still remain in the program. But by the end of the fourth week, like the Friday, like the live event, the Saturday of the fourth week, then after that, the following Monday, if you log in, you will discover that those of you that do not meet the requirement, discover that you'll still be able to log in, but you will be out of the program and out of the community. You'll still be seeing the community activities, you'll be seeing everything that is going on, but you will not be able to do anything. But you would also have the opportunity to defer to the next cohort. That's if the next cohort will be closed by. So because we know that some people are genuinely unable to continue with the program, right? So they can defer. Now, but everything has rules, there's conditions to everything. So everything has to follow certain rules and guidelines. I believe I made justice to that, Valentine. I believe I make justice to that question of yours. Then we have Victor Praise. You replied not yet. I presume your response is based on if you paid for the hosting or domain yet. So if you haven't done that, you should do that. Now, Deborah is asking, can we pay by the end of the month if we don't have the money now? Yes, you can. I don't know, because basically now the first week is off. At the end of the month, depending on what date, at the same time, depending on what date, because you have 4 weeks basically before you get kicked out of the program. You have 4 weeks, and after week 2, you won't even be able to continue unless you get your hosting and domain. But you still have the grace of fourth week. So even if you can't continue and you got your domain name on the week 4, you can still continue your program. So you can meet up within 2-3 days. You will meet up with because we space the lessons such a way that in a day gone you can finish a whole module within 2 hours. Your whole module is done, right? So you can catch up regardless. So that's why we give. So basically, we are giving a grace period of 4 weeks. But the sooner you get it, the better. Because most times when you're getting into a domain, you hear that there's issue with one thing, there's problem with another thing, one thing is not working, you can't install WordPress, this and all those specialists, so that we can fix them on time. Please, before you message me, I need to even say this. Now, initially, my number was not in the group, but because I want to be accessible, right? That's why I asked that I'm added to the groups so that people can reach out to me personally. But please, if what you're reaching out to me for is about upskill. Maybe you're having challenge with this or that. First, chat the support number. It's when you don't get response there for maybe after like few hours, maybe like 2 hours or 3 hours that you message, then you can reach out to me. But if if you now want to reach out to me about other things, advice, guide or tips or whatever, you're free to reach out to me. But when it comes to fixing technical issues, there's a support number for that. They will answer you. It's not because I can't respond, but they will answer you faster, right? You'll be able to get fixed. And every conversation is tracked, all right? So that we can know, the issues and reviews, whatever challenges everyone is facing, so that way we can improve the system better. But we are sending it to my private DM. That cannot be, monitored in a structural way. Okay. I'm shouting on top of my voice, Valentine. Like I'm literally shouting on top of my voice. So I'm audible. Rafiat is asking, can we go back to the module if we don't get the lesson at our convenience time, sir? And before we take the quiz. Yes, yes, yes. You can always go back to once you just go to my programs, just click continue program and it will take you to where you stopped. So you can always, as long as you've not been kicked out of the program, you can always continue at your own pace. The reason why we open the lessons at specific time and days is because we want everyone to be carried along. So when we have live sessions like this, you'll be able to ask questions based on what you learned, and I'll be able to fix any issue you might have faced during the whole learning process, right? So very soon I'm going to show you how to get using and domain. Right now we're already working on the issue why some of you are not seeing the .com.ng. So it's going to be rectified in the next 10-15 minutes while I still take some more questions. Right? So let's take questions. Let's take questions. More questions. More questions. All right, Samuel, you are asking on how to renew your hosting and domain. It's quite simple. When the time comes for you to renew, you are going to get an invoice. Basically, once you pay the invoice, it will automatically activate or renew your hosting. But I'm going to demonstrate that on how you find the invoices. But let's first fix the buying of the domain and hosting first. So, and then to renew, you would see an invoice will be created in the invoice box, the invoice section. Once you just pay that invoice, and you even have some grace period of about 2 weeks or so to pay up, even from when it expires. I think 7 days after it expires, you'll be able to pay. So I just discovered that the domain name was removed. So we are adding it back. The .com.ng was removed by our auto system because it could not find the dollar exchange. The dollar exchange it did not match. So it removed it automatically, disabled automatically. So that's why you're not seeing it. But now you'll be able to see it now Whether you switch to dollar or naira, it won't matter. All right, you'll be able to see the .com.ng and you'll be able to use it exactly the way you're supposed to use it. So very shortly, I'm going to demonstrate how you can get the hosting and domain. Yes, you can create website for people using Kubitos. Apparently, that's the purpose. In fact, you can even use that your hosting plan, that cheap hosting plan, and the free.com.ng. So let's say you charge somebody 100K now, or you charge them 100K, and you say, okay, hosting a domain is 50,000 naira. Come to your upscale account, buy the hosting and domain for 6,000 naira for 1 month, or 11,000 naira for 1 year, and keep the profit. All right, so that's the whole essence. So we are giving you those that graduate, those that finish the program, and those that buy the hosting and domain, you forever have access to that hosting, that cheap hosting plan, especially for upskill students. So you can use it for your clients, but don't use it for every website too. You know, if your website, because also there are some other limits to the hosting plan. All right, so we are using it for a site that will be getting massive traffic. I'll show you another cheap plan you can choose from Kubitos. But very soon, all our hosting plan will be coming with .com.ng. But for now, it's only upskill students that are getting the .com.ng for free. Only upskill students. All right, Florence, you said I should explain the following. So I'm going to explain it in simple terms. Now, from your lesson, you already know that hosting is like a computer. All right. So when you say core one, so that's the processing power of your website. So the higher the core that you're getting, the faster the website will be. Then the RAM and bandwidth. The RAM is, of course, just like a computer RAM, the RAM also has to do with the speed, the processing speed of the website. Now, even if you have a website running on 1 gig RAM, it might not be, it will be fast, but you might not see any effect. Even if you are running on 2 gig and 1 gig RAM, you might not see any effect until you started building website like WooCommerce website, or website that constantly communicates with the server. Now, when you begin to use website like that, one moment, please. When you begin to use website like that, that's when you begin to need bigger RAMs. But basically, most websites, they are okay with that 1 gig RAM. All right. Then for the light speed is a new technology now. Any hosting company that does not have light speed, they are old. All right. So light speed helps your website to be a bit faster because it cached a copy of your website. It's like a server-side caching, right? Cache or cake or whatever you call it. That CACHE. So that's what light speed does, but it's more complicated than that. So let's see. Let me open it on Google for you. For some reasons, a lot of processes are running on my computer. But we'll fix the issue of the .com.ng. Now you'll be able to see it with your cheap hosting plan. You'll be able to see it now. So that has been fixed. Now, Samuel Godwin, if you want to build a website for your client, you can create a new account for each client because some clients used to ask for their login credentials. Okay, So it's best to create a new Kubitos account each time you build a website. But you can still use the same hosting plan. So you know when you're about to check out, make sure you're already logged out of your own your own Kubitos account. Once you are logged out, then you can log into your Upskill account, buy the hosting. At the checkout part, it will ask you to fill the sign up registration. They fill the client information there. Once you fill the client information, basically we are creating an account for that client. So those are the credentials you submit to the client. But if you are the one that want to be managing the client's website, you can use your own account. So every service will be added to your own account. So everything will be managed by you. So depending on whichever client you are working with. That's for Samuel Gordon. So I believe that answered your question. Okay. So I'm going to switch to my PC now to show you um, what Lightspeed is for Florence. So Florence, now this is Lightspeed official website, right? So Lightspeed is a server-based cache software. So what it does is you can see it, fastest built-in cache. Initially, from some years ago, we depend on using plugins like the Lightspeed plugin, but there are other plugins. For those of you that are already, you will learn about plugins as we proceed. So we use that to improve our website speed. But most of the time, those plugins will create a file on our server to cache those requests so that people will not need to be sending multiple requests. So it will just feed them with the already saved copy of your website. So especially if you are building a website that you are not constantly updating it. So let's say you build a business website that most of the pages will be static. So it's not that you're updating the content every time, or there's a live like our Allski platform that there's a live stream. Now platforms are that you don't cache that kind of place. Because if you cache that kind of live stream, the last thing you saw there is the last thing you always see unless you clear your cache. So you don't cache that kind of thing because it's only working perfectly for static website. So now back to my explanation. So Lightspeed now will optimize your server in such a way that it would make it 10 times faster than the regular server. And on top of that, Kubitos is using what we call NMWE SSD, not just